Okay, hi. So the story that I chose was The First Strawberry, a Cherokee story. The author of this story, it's retold actually because it's a traditional legend. But the author is Joseph Bruchac. Joseph Bruchac is an Abenaki Indian author and storyteller. He is one of the most prominent contemporary Native American storytellers today. The illustrator of this book is Anna Wojtek. She is an illustrator from Prague and has had extensive art educational background. From the best research that I could put forth, I could not tell or find anywhere if the illustrations on here are an accurate portrayal of traditional Cherokee culture. So for the premise of this story book retelling, I will not say that this is an accurate portrayal. A Cherokee story. Long ago, when the world was new, the Creator made a man and a woman. The two of them were made at the same time so that neither would be lonesome. They married, and for a long time they lived together and were happy. Then, one afternoon, the man came home from hunting and found that the woman had not yet begun to prepare their meal. Instead, she was out picking flowers. The man grew angry. "I'm hungry," he said in a cold voice. "Do you expect me to eat flowers?" Now the wife, too, became angry. She had picked those flowers for their beauty with her husband. To share their beauty with her husband. "Your words hurt me," she said. "I will live with you no longer." She turned to the west and began to walk towards the sun. Her husband followed, but her steps were too quick. He could not catch her. He called her name, but she could not hear him. He went as fast as he could go, but his wife was much faster. The sun watched as the husband followed her. The sun saw how sorry the man was and took pity on him. "Are you still angry with your wife?" asked the sun. "No," said the man. "I was foolish to speak angry words. I cannot catch her to tell her I'm sorry." "Then I will help you," said the sun. The sun shone its light down on the earth in front of the woman. Where its light shone, raspberries grew up. The berries were ripe and looked good to eat. But the woman paid no attention to them and continued walking. The sun tried again. It shone down and blueberries grew. They glistened brightly in the sunlight, but the woman paid no attention to them. She only walked towards the west, leaving her husband further behind. Now the sun tried a third time. Where its beams touched the earth, blackberries grew up. They were dark and plump, but the woman's anger was too great. She did not see them. At last, the sun tried its hardest and shone its light down in the grass right in front of the woman's feet. And strawberries appeared. They glowed like fire in the grass, and the woman had to stop when she saw them in front of her. She knelt down and plucked one and bit into it. She had never tasted anything like it before. Its sweetness reminded her of how happy she and her husband had been together before they quarreled. "I must gather some of this fruit for my husband," she said, and she began to pick the berries. She was still picking them when the man caught up to her. "Forgive me for my hard words," he said to her, and she answered him by sharing the sweetness of the strawberries. So it was that strawberries came into the world. To this day, when the Cherokee people eat strawberries, they are reminded to always be kind to each other, to remember that friendship and respect are as sweet as the taste of ripe red berries. The end. So I think that the story that is being told here is one about respect, friendship, and kindness. The theme is a creation story of the first man, the first woman, and berries. And the message is how important it is to respect one each other. For children, I think that a main theme here is that harsh words can hurt, but it is important to forgive and remember that friendship is an important thing to preserve. I think that it could also convey the message that it is better to forgive and move on than to be right and ruin a relationship with grudges. So as I think about an activity that you could use for this book in a classroom that could connect to themes or other subject areas, I would use with maybe second grade. It could be an ELA activity. In this activity, students could individually create their own legends as a part of a storytelling unit. These could be written with illustrations or acted out if the kids wanted to come together in groups to do that, or individually. I would give the students a choice in this. And fitting into this unit of storytelling, I would be looking for the use of descriptive adjectives and the flow of a story. Finally, multiculturally speaking, I think that it is important to include this kind of literature into a classroom because specifically this book is teaching a creation story in a Cherokee culture. It tells about the importance of respect, forgiveness, and within families and friendships. And that's a really important message for kids to have access to in their classroom environments.